some residue remains. In some cases, more than 20% can be left behind. That leftover oil will mix with the new viscosity, right? Personally, I think it's...
Subscribe to LiSTA Lubricant Labs, like the video, and turn on notifications.
We got a question about engine oil flushing. One of our subscribers has been using 0W20 and is thinking of switching to 5W30. They were wondering on the way to the shop if they should flush the engine. A subscriber asked us if it's good to flush when using engine oil with a different viscosity.
You don't need to do a flush just because you're changing the viscosity of your engine oil. Flushing is something you do to clean out the engine. The reason this is needed is when many contaminants have built up or harmful substances have been added, causing possible chemical reactions. So flushing is done to clean those things out. For example, say you use an additive that contains chlorinated paraffin. It might have worked fine at the time, but then you add an engine oil that contains an acrylic-based compound that reacts with it, then it can start clumping up inside the engine. In that case, doing a flush to clean it out would be a good idea. Or if you've used a powdered engine oil additive, it might not cause issues at first, but over time it builds up inside the engine. That's another situation where flushing can help clean things out. So don't worry about viscosity changes, just go ahead and change the oil. But there is one thing to note, some residual oil always remains inside. In some cases, more than 20% of the old oil can be left behind. That leftover oil will mix with the new oil, right? So if you're switching from a high viscosity oil to a low viscosity one, they'll mix and you might not get exactly the viscosity you wanted. In that case, you should try to drain as much of the old oil as possible to reduce the residue. That'll solve the problem. So people often ask, should I flush the engine often? Or when exactly should I do it? Personally, I don't think it's necessary to do it often. Some shops will tell you to flush every time you change oil. But honestly, I think that's more about money. For example, if you're switching to a LiSTA Metallocene oil, you wouldn't flush with that. You'd just run the engine and drain it. There are two main types of flushing oils. One is base oil mixed with a detergent, just for cleaning. The other is cheap engine oil used as a flushing fluid. Now, if you own a car that requires a very high-spec oil, and you put in low-grade flushing oil, or just base oil with detergent, even for a short run, that puts stress on engines that require strict specifications. Since it happens in a very short moment, you might think it doesn't matter. But if it happens too often, problems can arise. So I don't think you need to do it very often. But there are things like this. If your current oil is still in good shape and there's a strong tribo film, then using low-spec flushing oil or detergent mixed base oil won't completely destroy that film. It can handle it just fine. But if the tribo film is already in bad shape due to heavy use, and if you drain the used oil and run flushing oil, the pistons will keep grinding as is. That would be bad, right? So again, flushing too often isn't great. Now, there's another case, fuel dilution. It happens quite a lot in hybrid cars. They become oil-producing countries. The oil keeps increasing. When low-viscosity fuel enters, the viscosity changes and sludge forms. It undergoes thermal oxidation. That's the problem. Then, for engines that keep this condition, frequent flushing to remove the old lubricant is recommended. Or even without flushing, drain more often to remove residue. And then, when an expert recommends it, that's a good time to flush.
If you do flush, it's better when the oil hasn't been severely degraded.
In that case, like I said earlier, don't just use base oil with detergent. Use a cheap oil that's low spec, but still forms a bit of tribo film. That's a much better way to flush. If your old oil is fine, then detergent mixed base oil is okay.